शेयर स्क्रीन। मेरी स्क्रीन विजिबल है ना?
हाँ भाई, आ रही है।
Okay. So, okay, let's start. Today we are going to discuss about GitLab CI/CD. Okay. So जो लोग ऑलरेडी मतलब जेंकिंग्स या फिर सर्कल सीआई पे काम कर चुके हैं तो उनको थोड़ा आइडिया होगा कि क्या CI/CD है क्या चीज, या फिर जिनको थोड़ा बहुत डेवऑप्स का आइडिया है ना। जिनको नहीं है उनके लिए थोड़ा बिगनर टाइप से हो जाएगा, तो अपन थोड़ा थोड़ा करके स्टार्ट से डिस्कस कर रहे हैं। उसके बाद एक और अगर वो पॉसिबल हो तो अपन आगे उसके बारे में एडवांस फीचर भी डिस्कस करेंगे। तो पहले अपन बात करते हैं गिटलैब की। सो व्हाट इज गिटलैब? Okay, so GitLab is basically a totally complete auto DevOps platform. Okay, totally complete से मेरा मतलब क्या है कि यहाँ पे अपन it's not just about CI/CD, like Jenkins is mostly I would say about CI/CD, है ना। अपन GitLab को as a source code management भी use कर सकते हैं. You can manage your product like your code repositories with subgroups, groups, projects, and you can define certain rules. Okay. आपने अगर जीरा यूज किया है तो आप गिटलैब को एज अ प्लानिंग मैनेजमेंट टूल भी यूज कर सकते हैं। लाइक आप इशू ट्रैक कर सकते हैं, टाइम ट्रैक कर सकते हैं, बोर्ड डिजाइन मैनेजमेंट गिटलैब इश्यूज के साथ। एकदम सारे फीचर्स उसके अवेलेबल नहीं है, लेकिन मोस्टली फीचर फ्री अवेलेबल है आपके पास। ठीक है, उसके बाद आप वेरीफाई कर सकते हैं आपके कोड को विद CI कंटिन्यूअस इंटीग्रेशन इन CD। ऑफ कोर्स देयर इज अ फाइल कॉल्ड gitlab-ci.yaml, उसके थ्रू से आप उसको वेरीफाई कर सकते हैं आपके कोड को। एंड यू आल्सो गेट अ इंटरेक्टिव वेब टर्मिनल that what exactly happening when that file you write is executing. Okay, so GitLab की हेल्प से आप मैनेज कर सकते हैं, प्लान कर सकते हैं, क्रिएट कर सकते हैं और वेरीफाई कर सकते हैं। उसके अलावा लाइक जनरली अपन लोग जो डॉकर अगर कुछ अपने प्रोजेक्ट के अंदर डॉकराइजेशन यूज करते हैं तो अपन एक डॉकर इमेज बनाते हैं जिसको अपन आर्टिफैक्ट्री के अंदर पुश करते हैं। ठीक है, तो उसके लिए अपन जनरली नेक्सस यूज में लेते हैं, फ्री ओपन सोर्स है इसलिए। तो उसका भी अल्टरनेटिव गिटलैब में अवेलेबल है। आप गिटलैब रजिस्ट्री यूज कर सकते हैं। सो गिटलैब का एक फीचर पैकेजिंग भी है जहाँ पे आपकी अगर आप .NET यूज करते हैं तो नगेट, अगर आप C या C++ कर रहे हैं, मेविन कर रहे हैं या npm कर रहे हैं तो उन सब के पैकेज कंटेनर रजिस्ट्री भी अवेलेबल है आपके यहाँ पे। हेल्म चार्ट्स के लिए भी रिपोजिटरी अवेलेबल है और ऑटो क्लीनअप पॉलिसीज है। सो आपको इजीली आप मैनेज कर सकते हैं गिटलैब CI/CD के थ्रू आपका पूरा कंप्लीट एक प्रोजेक्ट का साइकिल इन सिंपल वर्ड्स। ओके, अगर अपन और थोड़ा डिस्कस करें गिटलैब CI/CD के बारे में, मतलब बेसिकली फर्स्ट गिटलैब के बारे में मोस्टली। ठीक है, तो इट प्रोवाइड्स सिक्योरिटी एज वेल। ओके, हाउ सिक्योरिटी? तो सिक्योरिटी इस तरीके से प्रोवाइड कराते हैं कि आप अपने कोड को स्टैटिक एप्लीकेशन सिक्योरिटी टेस्टिंग के थ्रू आप कंटिन्यूअसली टेस्ट कर सकते हैं। लाइक आपने SonarQube से इंटीग्रेशन कर दिया आपकी CI/CD फाइल में, तो हर कमिट पे आपका कोड सिक्योरिटी चेक्स करेगा। ठीक है, फिर रिलीज में भी गिटलैब हेल्पफुल है CD के लिए। ठीक है, उसके अलावा इस गिटलैब का एक और फीचर है गिटलैब पेजेस। ओके, जो लोग अपनी स्टैटिक वेबसाइट होस्ट करते हैं, है ना, तो आपको एक सर्वर का पैसा देना होता है और डोमेन का पैसा देना होता है, करेक्ट। तो गिटलैब पेजेस, गिटलैब एक फीचर प्रोवाइड कराता है जहां पे यू कैन होस्ट योर वेबसाइट लाइक स्टैटिक वेबसाइट। ओके, वहां से आपको एक कस्टम DNS मिलेगा एंड यू कैन मैप दैट कस्टम DNS टू योर ओन DNS। तो आप उससे आप जो सर्वर है उसकी कॉस्ट बचा सकते हैं स्टैटिक वेबसाइट के लिए। ठीक है, उसके बाद कॉन्फ़िगरेशन में भी काम में आता है। हाउ इजीली यू कैन कॉन्फ़िगर, जस्ट फॉर एग्जांपल, let's say you are a non-technical guy, okay, and you don't know how CI/CD works. Okay, so you can easily integrate your GitLab CI/CD with ChatOps. Okay, what I mean by ChatOps is if you want to deploy some project or some repository to your dev environment, okay, you set a particular command within in your GitLab CI file and you just write deploy on dev or and then project name. Okay, so it would automatically deploy that project to that particular environment. So ये चैटऑप्स का फीचर भी गिटलैब में इजीली आपको अवेलेबल होता है। इसके अलावा मॉनिटरिंग के फीचर्स, कोई कुछ बोल रहा था क्या? ओके, इसके अलावा मॉनिटरिंग का फीचर भी अवेलेबल होता है यहाँ पे। आप आपका KTest क्लस्टर मॉनिटर कर सकते हैं, इंसिडेंट मैनेजमेंट टूल होता है, अलर्ट्स ले सकते हैं, है ना, और इजी टू लर्न है। ठीक है, इसके अलावा अगर आपको और गिटलैब के बारे में मोर इन्फॉर्मेशन चाहिए तो आई हैव अटैच्ड अ लिंक हियर, यू कैन सी ऑल ऑफ इट्स फीचर हियर, like what GitLab actually provides and what is free and what is paid. Okay, SaaS is the gitlab.com we are using and self-managed if you're using GitLab on our server. Okay, तो यहाँ पे उस सारे फीचर्स की लिस्ट है जो GitLab प्रोवाइड कराता है, और जो भी अपन यहाँ लिस्ट डाउन किया मोस्टली सब gitlab.com के SaaS सोल्यूशन पे फ्रीली अवेलेबल है। Okay, so that is what GitLab is. Okay, Now let's talk about CI/CD. Okay, what is CI/CD? Okay, CI/CD is basically continuous integration and continuous deployment. Okay, some people often say that it's not continuous deployment, it's continuous delivery. Okay, so we're going to talk about that as well. Like, what's the difference between that? Okay, so first of all, CI/CD की बात करते हैं. What is CI? Continuous integration. So let's say you have a repository somewhere, okay, in GitLab, okay, and you have your code, and CI is basically test your code and build your code and package it into a single entity. It could be anything, okay. So that is why continuous integration is, okay. Just for example, अगर मैं एक बात करता हूँ, I have a Java repository somewhere, okay, and what I'm doing, I'm building the Java code into a jar file, okay. I am also testing that with the some SonarQube instance, okay, and if everything is successful, I'm creating a Docker image out of it, okay. So all this part is basically CI, continuous integration, okay. Now let's talk about continuous delivery and continuous deployment, okay. So continuous delivery is CI plus deploy it to one of your environment, okay. Now continuous delivery is the manual process. That's the difference it has with the continuous deployment. Delivery is manual process and deployment is an automated process. Okay, so let's say अगर अपने इंटरनल एनवायरमेंट्स पे आपको एक पॉलिसीज रखनी है, लाइक ऑटोमेटिकली जैसे कोई भी डेवलपर कमिट करता है, यू वांट इट टू बी डिप्लॉय ऑटोमेटिकली टू द डेव एनवायरमेंट और स्टेजिंग एनवायरमेंट, ओके, यू कैन यूज कंटिन्यूअस डिलीवरी, ओके. इसके लिए भी GitLab एक बहुत इजी वे में सपोर्ट देता है. ऑल यू नीड टू डू इज लाइक, यू डोंट नीड टू मेंशन एनीथिंग. इफ यू वांट इट टू बी मैन्युअल, जस्ट मेंशन व्हेन इक्वल्स टू मैन्युअल, ओके. उसके पर अपन आएंगे जब मैं आपको GitLab की फाइल बताऊंगा, बट जस्ट इंट्रोडक्शन के लिए कि all you have to do is add a statement when equals to manual. So it works like continuous delivery. You can manually deploy it to your environments, okay. And if you talk about CD, it will be automatically deployed. So as soon as you deploy, as soon as you commit, it will be automatically deployed to the environments, okay. So at like we can say that GitLab CI/CD is part of GitLab that help us to use all of the continuous method, continuous integration, continuous deployment, continuous delivery, and yeah, that's it. So that's what CI/CD is. Now let's look into this diagram what we have here, okay. So this is some local code at some developer's machine, okay. Let's say he or she commits something, okay, some like related to any code feature. And what happens here in this repository we have a file, okay. That file is gitlab-ci.yaml, okay, which has stages or which has some code, okay, which asks GitLab to do these steps, okay, like build the code, okay, unit test the code, integration test the code, okay. So all this stuff is basically CI pipeline, okay. And about the reviewing and deploying it to staging and production environments is CD, is continuous deployment or delivery, okay. So now let's dive into it, like learn about it. Like what are the keywords, how to write a file and everything, okay. So let's talk about what are the keywords. So when we see a GitLab file, we should be able to understand that what we are looking at, right? So let's say you have some file, GitLab CI file, and you want the same file somewhere else, okay. So you can use this include keyword and you can use the path of that file. So this will point to that GitLab file, okay. Now another is image, okay. Let's say we want to use some Docker image for our GitLab CI, okay. Then we can mention that name of that image. Like let's say, just for example, we want Maven, okay. Maven is a build tool of Java. So let's say we want to use that, we want to build our code. So we want Maven image, Maven Docker image. So we can simply mention that image equals to Maven image, whatever the Docker image name is, okay. Then stages, okay. So if I talk about CI/CD, then the main structure of CI/CD lies into three things. First is pipeline, second is your stages, and third is your jobs, okay. So that is also another keyword which we are going to talk about in later slides as well. So I'm skipping this one. Next is before script, after script, and script. So these are basically you're going to do some operations, so that would you're going to mention into script tag, okay. You want to perform certain operation before that, you will add that into before script. For the guys who are familiar with the Jenkins, there's a pre-builds and post-build steps, right? So you can use that similar to that before script and after script. Okay. Next one is variable. So let's say you don't want to hard code anything in your CI/CD pipeline. So you're gonna use you can use variables. Like just for example, I don't want to mention my password or username or some certain URLs into that file because that might change in the future, right? Or that used multiple times in the same file. So I can declare some variables. Okay, there are some predefined variables as well, which we're gonna see it first. Okay, another two parts are like two keywords are cache and artifacts. Okay, so okay, now what is caching? Everybody knows, I think, what is caching, but now what is caching in terms of GitLab? Like what is it's here? Okay, so let's say we want to store something, some project dependencies. Just for example, let's say my project is using some dependencies of some database, okay, or some RabbitMQ thing. Okay, so I don't want to download it every time it runs the pipeline. Okay, so I can simply add cache statement and provide the path, like what I actually want to cache. Okay, next is artifact. Artifact is just like your end product, okay, which you can pass between your stages. As we are not like gone through the stages and all that part, so I'm going to talk about this too on later slides as well. Okay, so here it comes, pipelines. Okay, what is pipeline? Okay, so pipeline is basically the result of your GitLab CI file. Just to show everyone how it looks like okay, this is some project made by one of our team member. So I go to this pipeline section in GitLab in the CI/CD tab, of course. So you can see like what is this is the pipeline, like one end result of a GitLab this file, GitLab-CI file. Okay, so that is a pipeline. You can see this is a pipeline history dashboard, where we have all these pipelines. Okay, so if you want to define it, you can simply say it a result of a GitLab CI file, CI file. Okay, it's basically a group of your jobs, like okay, and you can see it here, like in this left side of here. Yeah. Okay, coming to next is that is done already. Yeah, stages. Stages is basically group of your jobs. Okay, like what actually we are doing. Let's say we are building. Okay, so and let's say we are testing something. Let's say we're deploying something. So you can this is basically a group of jobs. Okay, to make more sense. Okay, just for example, I have, let's say, 100 environments. Okay, that's not a practical thing, but still we are assuming that let's say we have 100 environments here, so we don't want it to get longer and longer and longer. So what we'll do, you would simply define like, okay, out of 30 are related to testing, out of 40 are related to deploy. So you would see a drop down here like this. So this is basically a stage. What you see below this is basically a job. Okay, now, okay, too much keywords like stage, jobs, and pipeline. So let's talk what actually a job is, that it will make more sense. So job is basically what we are actually going to do, what we want to do. Let's say you want to test something, you want to build something. So let's say you write Maven clean install. Okay, so that's what you want to do. You want to build your project, right? So that is a job. That's what you do in that, like that's what you write. Okay, stage is basically you group all those relatable jobs together. So that's what a stage is. Okay, so similarly, yes, like you are deploying something to staging, to QA, to production. So this is a job for each of them, and the deploy is basically a stage. Okay, we already talked about jobs. Okay, one thing I think we missed is that you can run it concurrently, right? Like let's say you want to deploy it which we discussed in the previous slide, that deploy to staging, deploy to QA. You can run each of them concurrently. Okay, so yeah, that's what a job is. Okay, now GitLab env variables. So there are some predefined environmental variables provided by GitLab itself that you can use for some metadata information. Like let's say you are creating an end product of Docker image, right? You want like some metadata attached to that, right? So you can use this, like what is the commit hash? Okay, who committed, like branch name, or who committed it, user, okay, or the unique ID of that pipeline. Each of them, you can see more of it in this link. I don't want to go with each of them, so I just mentioned the link here. Okay, moving next. Okay. Before we dive into and see actual GitLab CI file, let's talk about some steps, like some stages, like what we have, what kind of stages we have. I'm more of talking about here Java only. I hope you can relate. So let's talk about this 4 things: building, testing, containerization, and deployment part. Okay. So if I talk about building, generally we use Maven or Gradle. Okay. So it is basically a build automation tool for Java projects mainly. What it does, it just scan your code, make sure it is compiled successfully, and integrate all your code into a jar file. Okay. So that's what Maven is for. So let's say you want to add a job for Maven. What you're gonna do? You're gonna mention something like this. 1 minute. Something like this. Okay. So you mentioned what environment we want. So this is the base image of for this particular job. You would call as a job. Okay. What it does, so it does what is written inside the script. So it can just build the project. Okay. And we want to store the end product as an artifact. Okay. So that's what building process is. Next is testing. Okay, so let's say we want to test our code continuously. So we can simply add the commands here inside the script tag to test it. Okay, so what it's going to do, it's going to inspect your code with every commit. Okay, so if you have some, problem with your code, some bugs or some code smells, you can easily identify that. Okay, it's not the only tool, you can use some other as well, but it's the most popular one, I think. So that's why I took the example of it. Next part is containerization. Okay, so Docker. Okay, so Docker here is basically used to package your application and all its dependencies into a single container. Okay, so it could run on any OS. Okay, without having any trouble. Generally, it happens, right? Developer often say it was working on my machine, right? So it is here to resolve that issue. Okay, so in Docker, what you do basically, you build your project and you move the endpoint into that Docker machine, which already has all the dependencies. Okay. For creating that Docker container, we use Docker file, which we have to write. Okay. So I'm going to talk about that as well. Like what are some good practices? I know we are talking about GitLab CI/CD, but we need to talk about this as well because that's the core of it. Okay. So how to write a good Docker file? First thing, in order to write a good Docker file is you need to use a lightweight base image, right? So the size of your Docker image will be minimal. Okay. Second thing, it is always a good idea to use versioning. Okay. So you can differentiate between each of your commits or each of your different versions. So just try to skip the latest tag as far as you can. Okay, third point is it would be better to attach some metadata to your Docker image, like user email, the commit, so you can track like who committed it, not to blame or anything, just for accountability purpose. Okay, next is like often what we do, we add like so many lines in Docker file. Just for example, let's say I took here, I can see run. Let's say I want to create some directory, so the mkdir. And some directory test, and in the next line I would again mention run. Okay, chmod 777 test. Okay, so generally it doesn't make more impact on that, but it is often advisable. Okay, it is often advisable to minimum use minimum number of commands here. So instead of that, you can simply make it work like this. Okay, so it will be treated as a single container layer. Okay, so how Docker works internally, with each of the command you write in your Docker file, it is going to create a layer, okay, which has some impact on the Docker file. So it is advisable to use minimum number of Docker commands in a Docker file. Okay, another one is it is good to have a health check like externally for that particular Docker container. And the next one is it's not like recommended to run that as a root user. Okay, because sometimes your Docker machine Docker container have access to the server where you're running it. Okay, so it's a good thing to not run as a root user. Okay, so okay, Kubernetes is just for the managing that container which you are going to run. And then you have Helm. So basically this is some one of a way to deploy your code from your GitLab to your cluster, Kubernetes cluster, or whatever Docker orchestration tool you are using. Okay. So there are multiple ways. One way is basically you just use kubectl APIs. Okay, like you can directly communicate to Kubernetes with its kubectl API, so you can use that in your GitLab CI as well. Another one is basically Helm. Okay, for a short introduction, you can say that all that relatable kubectl commands or the files, you can add them together. Okay, to just as a so that it can work as a package manager for Kubernetes. Okay, just for example, if you have used on Mac, you have Homebrew, right? So, and if you're working with Node.js, then you're familiar with npm. Okay, so it's similar for Kubernetes. It's the package manager for Kubernetes. Okay, another point I want to add is before its latest version 3 or 3.5, 3 point something, there is another component was needed, Tiller, to deploy it on Kubernetes, but now they have make it simpler just to simplify the architecture. That now all you need to do is have install Helm in your client machine, and you can use it to deploy things on your Kubernetes. Okay, so now let's get back to GitLab CI/CD. Okay. Okay, so what is this file, GitLab CI YAML file? Okay, so just for a movie reference, if you can imagine GitLab CI/CD as the Matrix movie, then this file is our Neo. Okay, if you have watched the movie, you can understand the reference, but just for the people who don't understand the reference, it's the most important file for our GitLab CI/CD. Okay, so it handles everything, like all the CI part, all the CD part. If you don't want to do any, like if you want to do anything apart from that, run any scripts, anything, it can handle all of it. Okay, so there could be one for each of your project, or if you want to make it common, like make one file for all of my Java projects, make one for all of my Python projects, then you can do that as well. Like you can make a common file and just give the path of that like this. So that's also you can do. Now let's see how a GitLab CI file looks like. Okay, so here we have a GitLab CI file in front of us. Okay, so we have 6 minutes. Okay, so here you can see that we have all these jobs, like build job, this is a test job 2, and this is a deploy job. So what it is doing, it is building. Okay, building our project. Okay, like here I'm only printing some dummy statements, but you can imagine like it has some like Maven clean install, then it will be created an artifact. Okay, then here we have 2 jobs, okay, which has same stage. Okay, so how it's going to look like? It's going to look like this. Test is the stage, and this is the jobs what we have. Okay, and this is for deploy, so you can see it has a separate one. So I hope you are able to understand what is a staging. Okay, staging is nothing but grouping of each jobs. Okay, let's say I have another deploy to staging or deploy to QA, then it would appear here in the deploy section. Okay, moving to next. Okay, what a GitLab CI file should contain. Okay, so there are many ways or many ways to run a file. Okay, basically we're going to talk about that in runner section, but here we have an example of Docker runner. Okay, so here you define like where my GitLab CI file should run, like whatever I've written, where should it run. So it will run in a Docker image which already had Git. Okay, then before script is basically a tag, like what should I do before I do go to or jump to any of my jobs. So it's gonna like update everything, and then I define the stages. So in a simpler GitLab CI file, we have this 3 stages: build stage, package stage, and deploy stage. Okay, then if you talk about build stage, then what we are doing here, we have a base image of Maven here with Java installed in it, and I use Maven clean install here. Okay, now here we have artifacts. Okay, so now we are going to talk about it, like what is artifact, what it's going to do actually. Okay, so artifact is basically to specify the files, or let's say if you have some directories, okay, to attach, which are attached to a job. Okay, so if it succeed, okay, if we want to store it, okay, so it would be accessible to the next stage. Just to take an example, let's say here we are storing that into an artifact. Okay, let's say it is a building Maven clean install. Okay, so we stored a jar file here. Okay, then you cannot access it here. you can access that jar file in the next stage, which is basically here. Why cannot you access the same endpoint of this? Because this can run concurrently. Okay, and if it has started and it has not ended yet, then it would not be possible to access the end product of this in this. So that's the reason you cannot access the artifact of the same job which are in the same stage. Okay, so this is what artifact is. Where it's on? Yes, here. Okay, now another some points I want to mention about artifacts, that the maximum amount of size about of artifact is could be 1 GB on gitlab.com. Like if you have your artifact more than 1 GB, then it wouldn't work. Okay, the next one is basically yeah, next one is, yes, you have an option to download artifact. If I show you, yes, you can see like here we are building, moving to install that artifact, right? So by this button we can download that artifact. Okay, so it was give us the artifact in the zip file. Okay, another fact about that artifact, that GitLab make some rules here, that if you have some artifact after June 22, 2020, then it would be only available for 30 days. Okay, so I faced some problem in one of our project that it was available for fewer builds, like before to June 2022, it was available, like this option was available. But for the pipeline which ran 2 or 3 months ago, that was not available. So it is because GitLab makes a rule that until and unless you change it, it will be only available for 30 days. Okay, now talking about cache. Okay, caching. So how does caching works and how it is different? Okay, so caching is basically, let's say you don't want to include all your project dependency or download your project dependency for each pipeline. So it can share, like whatever dependency you download, it can share between all the pipelines. Let's say something is downloaded here. Okay, the meeting is about to end. Okay, I will share a new ID. Okay. Okay, so okay. Okay, so screen visible है ना?
हाँ मुझे भाई विजिबल है.
Okay, so अपन artifacts की बात कर रहे थे, अब अपन caching की बात करते हैं. What is caching? Let's say we want some we have some dependencies which are already downloaded in this pipeline. Okay, which we don't want to download it every time we run a new pipeline. Okay, so what we can simply do, we can cache it. How we can cache it? By simply providing the path of it, like this, paths m2 m2 repository, like this. Okay, now what is the difference between caching and artifact? Like you can use this caching for your artifact as well. Okay, but that's not advisable. Okay, so first thing, कैशे पहले रिस्टोर होती है. जब भी आप कोई पाइपलाइन नहीं चलाते हो, तो अगर आपकी ऑलरेडी कोई कैशे है तो पहले कैशे रिस्टोर होगी, उसके बाद आपके आर्टिफैक्ट रिस्टोर होंगे. ओके, जस्ट टू शो यू एवरीवन दैट हियर इन दिस प्रोजेक्ट. ओके, अपन ने क्या किया था, अपन ने आर्टिफैक्ट स्टोर किया था उस जार फाइल का. ओके, so if I open it and if I show you, so this is the statement we have added: artifact, path, target, and whatever jar it, just store it in as an artifact. We are able to download that. Okay, now if we see, let's say this was the step where we build the jar. Okay, so now if I see in the next stage, okay, then here what it do basically, first, okay, here first it fetch that artifact. You can see downloading artifacts for build. ओके, सो पहले वो कैश लाता है, जो आप अपन यहाँ पे कैशिंग ऐड नहीं करी इसलिए वो उनको दिखा नहीं रहा. लेकिन अगर आपने कैशे ऐड करी हुई है तो फर्स्ट वो कैशे को डाउनलोड करता है एंड आफ्टर दैट इट डाउनलोड ऑल द आर्टिफैक्ट्स. ओके, सो आर्टिफैक्ट्स विल ओवरराइड द कैशे. ओके, next is, okay, so that's the difference between this artifacts and cache. Next thing, that let's say you don't want to keep the same cache for each of your branch. Okay, then you can add a key like this. Like key is CI build reference name, which is basically an environmental variable for your branch name of GitLab. Okay, so that will be the key of your cache. So for each of your branch, it would have a different cache stored. Okay, so that's the difference between artifact and cache. Okay, now moving to my okay, now moving to the next section.
Gunjan,
हाँ,
My question was actually quite close to that topic that you were telling right now, the cache.
No
Can you
problem.
just go back to the slide
Yeah, sure,
so
sure,
that
sure.
I can
Yeah.
complete my question?
This one?
Yeah, yes, this one. Over there, as you can say that there are this cache. We have this feature like key. Okay, so we also have some feature like when to fire this or not? Say, for example, we
Yes.
all know that when there is a change in a package.json or my Maven file, only then I need the new dependencies. Otherwise, I don't need that. So that means the cache should not fire when there is a change in pom.xml or package.json. But cache should actually fire every time otherwise.
I think yes, it is possible. Okay, wait. Okay. Can we discuss it in the end, like in the end of the presentation? Like
Yeah,
I
sure,
think
sure,
it. I
sure,
think it
sure.
is
I
possible.
thought maybe it was just a simple variable.
Yes,
If
yes.
it is something different, then we will discuss it later.
I think it is possible because there is some way of disabling the for jobs. Okay, so let's say you want to disable the cache, then you can simply mention it like this, like job cache is empty. Okay, so I think there is a way of doing that as well, but I need to open some another tabs, which I will go. I like to go in the end if you don't mind.
Sure. We'll do that later.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'll jump into that in the end. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. Now coming to the next part, which is Docker building. Okay. So let's say you want to create a Docker image out of your code or the end product. So all you have to do is log in to your repository. Okay. In our case, it was Nexus. So we just log in into our Nexus. If you don't have another Artifactory, then you can just directly log into registry.gitlab.com, which we earlier discussed. That GitLab also provide a registry to store Docker images. Okay, then you can build your Docker image, and as we said that it is a good way, like good thing to provide metadata. So we're providing metadata like commit SHA, okay, to help us to debug us later. Okay, then we can push it directly to that image. So that's how you deploy it. Okay, now let's talk about the okay, I think one thing is missing, which is deployment. Okay, I'll show you a file in the end for that. So now let's talk about GitLab runners. Okay, what is a GitLab runner? So runner is nothing but which help us to execute the code which we have written. Okay, so let's say we have written maybe whatever in that GitLab CI file, it helps us to execute all that code. Okay, and there are three types of runner: shared runner, group runner, and specific runner. Shared runner, which are already provided by GitLab. So let's say you know nothing about GitLab, all you have a project on GitLab, and you want to take the advantage of CI/CD, you can use the shared runner. Okay, what the drawback of it? It has some limited minutes. Okay, and I think it is slower. The next one is group runner. If you have your own runner, you can define it at some group level, so it will be accessible throughout all the subgroups and all the projects. Specific runner, it's one which is accessible to some specific projects or some tags. Okay, so you can mention tags as well. Just for example, I have a specific runner which use some Windows machine. I have some code which only should be executed on Windows machine, right? So I've created a runner, give it a tag Windows, and then in the all GitLab CI file, I would mention tag equals to Windows. Okay, so all those GitLab CI file where I mentioned tags equals to Windows, it will be only executed by that Windows runner. Okay, so that's how the tags work. The next is executors. Okay, executor is basically something which actually execute your code. Okay, just for an example, I would say, let's say if you have a CI/CD job, or if you have a CI/CD file which basically runs only on a Docker container. Okay, or it needs some Docker commands like we have here in case of our Docker file, right? Docker command, right? So basically what we need a Linux machine or any other server where Docker is already installed. Okay, so something just like that. Okay, so those are all the executors. So there are different types of executors like VM executor, Kubernetes, Docker, or shell runner. Now here comes the most important topic of this, like most important thing which we observed here. Okay, so earlier in our success data project, we were using shared runners. Okay, so it was taking around 12 minutes or 13 minutes for a basic Java pipeline. Okay, like what we are doing, we were building it, we were creating a Docker image out of it, and then we are pushing it to one of our environment. So on an average, it was taking around 10 to 12 minutes. Okay. Then in another project of our CVT, what we saw that what they were doing, they have created a Docker image basically. Okay. And in that Docker image, it has all the dependencies which is required by that repository. Okay. Just for example, let's say you have a Java project which required a Postgres dependency. So that Postgres dependency was already present inside that Docker image. Okay. So we moved to that, and also we explored the cache thing. That help us to reduce us to our pipeline to 5 minutes. Okay. Then like we moved to that, and it was taking around 4 to 5 minutes. After that, we explored this one. Okay. And I don't think you will believe me, but it helped us to, a drastic improvement in our GitLab CI/CD process. Okay. This after using shell runner, our CI/CD process were 85% improved. Okay. Now what's the logic behind that is basically, what is shell runner? You have a machine. Okay. In case of Docker and the caching thing, what it basically does that that download that Docker image first, then it runs that jobs inside that Docker image. Okay. So anyway, it's going to download the Docker image. Okay. Then if you are using caching, you can skip that dependencies downloading. Okay. But in case of shell, what GitLab does an API call to that runner where you have shell runner. Okay. And all the dependencies are already downloaded into that machine only. Okay. So this way you can, optimize your GitLab CI/CD. Okay. Now one more thing. I'm stopping recording now. As
I have a question, Gunjan, about that shell runner. So